want to give a little context first so that we have like a container and then we can
Yes.
like waft into it. But first of all, so we met in Halifax, just outside of the festival, and I had my puppet Stims, and then you just approached me like you just started talking. How did that happen anyway? Like, what was the playback?
I, so me, my friends, we were kind of going out on a walk. And then because it was a Pride Festival, I kind of wanted to see the what the event space looks like because it was getting crowded a little bit. So I just wanted to check that out. And you were standing right at the ticketing center, and Stems looked gorgeous. So I was curious that kid in me, or that curiosity just got me like, oh, I would love to talk and how then see how it goes. I mean, of course, my friends were surprised because I didn't let them know that I'm gonna go, and I just kind of got out of that crowd, and I straight away went to you, and I started talking with Stems, and Stem was so responsive. So it just the conversation went on, and yeah, we discussed about how stimulation of the world makes him feel, and I was like, oh, I connect with that. Like I feel
Mhm.
sometimes we all feel overwhelmed. And
Mhm.
it's so nice to see somebody represent that in a way that people can connect. And especially, I would say that kind of healed my inner child in a way. I, I mean, I was very much curious, like how it goes. I have seen it in television or like in videos, but more or less, I was more curious to see it right in front of me. Why would I not? People
Mhm.
would people often miss the things which are there in front of them because they are like, oh, I should not because I might feel awkward, or they are afraid to try, I would
Mhm.
say, or not afraid in a way that, oh, I don't think I should do that. There is a sense of questioning. Should I do? Should I not? It's like, go for it. What if
Mhm.
I, the best, I would say the best advice that I heard from somebody was to ask or to go for it. If you don't, the answer will always be no. But if you do, it might be a yes, or it might be something you never expected. So
That's
that was
beautiful.
for that was Stems for me, and you for me, and our conversation just continued. And I was like, I'm Bulbul, and you're Wazoo. So it just
Mhm.
little birds, and
Little birds.
we had such good conversation. It was so nice, and I wanted to share it in a
Mhm.
way. I
What
was Yeah.
what gives you that kind of, because you said the person who told you, the if you don't ask, the answer is always no. I think that's such a good, that should be a t-shirt. But who, like, is that what kind of gave you that confidence, or were there many people that helped you feel that, like, that safety in leaping?
I would say that before moving to Halifax, I was in a sensitive and dark place in a way. Let's put it in that way. It was not dark necessarily, but my mind was not at its fullest. Like it was shut down in a way. Where my creativity, my thoughts, and everything, I just kind of kept in a bottle and forget about it because I don't need it right now, and I need to focus on life and like making money and stress and other situations that was
Survival.
a yeah, survival.
Yeah.
And uh, I had a very, I'll say, like, my grandfather, he gave me a call on my birthday that, oh, what are you doing on your birthday? And he was all excited, and I was actually working. So I work night shift, so I still get plenty of time where I can still talk to people in India. And he told me like, "Why are you working? Like it's your birthday." I was like, "No, I need to make money because money, then only I can party." And I was trying to put it in that sense. And he is
Mhm.
like, "No, I'll send you some. You enjoy a little bit. Like let loose. Life is short. And the very next day, I mean, not next day for them, but the very same day for me, it I get a message saying that he passed away. So that was a message that lives with me. Like I was not letting myself be. And I still bottled that emotion up and I continued surviving for a long time. Once it became full, I had long hairs, which I chopped. And I was like, you know what? I will not be the same person anymore. Not same person. I'll take the good parts, but I'll leave the rest which are not good for me. And I was, because I'm losing myself. I couldn't look at the mirror and I can see that this is not Bulbul. This is not me. This is not the same person. It's Pratna. Pratna is really studious. She knows surviving, but she can't thrive. And I want to thrive. Like that's the point of life. You are in this world to explore, to learn, to see, to feel, to not just surviving. So that made a huge difference. And my journey to Halifax was based around the thought that I will not be the same person. I can be anything that I want to be.
Mm.
So I am Bulbul and Prarthana, but I want to keep the good parts of Bulbul alive and good parts of Prarthana alive too, in that sense. Like I just can't be one person because half of my life I've been both. So it
Mm.
doesn't make sense.
So was Bulbul like a nickname that you always had, or did you yeah, so they called you that. Okay, sweet. Is
Yeah,
that a common
Bulbul,
nickname or
yeah, like Bulbul means a bird, small little bird. My dad was very keen on naming his first daughter Bulbul, and I, being the eldest in my family in a way, it had to be. So he always called me Bulbul. Everyone in, like in my hometown, if you go, Prarthana would not be like, it will be really hard to find me in that sense. But if you go and just scream that, do you know Bulbul?
Mm.
Somebody might be like somebody would let you straight to
Mhm.
in like straight in front of my house in a way. So
Okay, so it's
everybody
like
knows.
Prathna, like a John Smith kind of like name in India. That's very classic.
But yeah, more or less, it was more of my official name. Like
Oh,
in
okay.
my school, in my papers, documentation,
Mhm.
legally I'm Prarthana, yes. But spiritually, I would feel more Bulbul.
That's cool. That's beautiful. Yeah, and there's a gift to calling in the name of an animal because like when you have a name of an animal, like you're charged or like the qualities of the animal are gifted to you, I feel. So like my name is Michaela. My name was
Yeah.
given and Michaela Michael, it's female for Michael and Michael is a very like a protective angel
Mhm.
the angel of protection. And it's very interesting because I often like have a very protective nature and I really yeah, it's just part of my code. So it's like I do have that within me. But when I chose the name Wazo and I wanted to call in more of the gifts of Wazo, it's like I wanted to call in, you know, I perceive birds as artists because they make beautiful nests, they sing, they do a lot of things for beauty and they even just the way they move is like a dance and their freedom to like travel and like be buoyant and float. I'm like I would like to feel like I'm floating because when I make art like I do feel like I'm floating. And so when I went with Wazo and I wanted that freedom. I wanted essentially creative freedom and that includes everything from, you know, from financially being able to afford all the things I want to make to being able to express myself because I feel safe expressing myself, like everything that
Yeah.
does that. So the spell or the gift of a bird name does feel very much like the gift of creative freedom to me. So it's really neat that you're calling in like you know and you have that like you said I like to do everything like I like to craft I like that you're like I want to do it all.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it does feel a lot. Like what, it's too much for me. But in a way, like if you feel the joy,
Hmm.
then that is not a, like, that definitely won't be something that you should be worrying about. You got that. You just need to organize it a little bit in a way. But yes, my I funny enough, like I saw a video on open tabs, and I could relate. I have so many tabs open my phone, like not, if something intrigues me, I would search, research, and I'll write like many notes,
Yeah,
piles and
yeah.
piles of notes. And then I'm like, yeah, where do we start?
Yeah, people get really stressed when they look at my computer because they open it and they're like, "Oh my God, can we close some tabs?" I'm like, "No, no, we
No,
can't. No, we cannot
all
close them."
important.
All important. They're like, you haven't looked at this in months," and I'm like, "I don't know. You never know." That is something that I do know that I need to like. And this is a big reason why I like doing kind of creating containers of just like connecting with people or like having projects or times or whatever, like having things that help me be like, this is the time that I do this, this is the time I talk about this is the time. And then I think for us many tabs people, I don't know if you're like this, but I often think outside of my head. Like I take everything and I put it outside of my head.
Dumping.
Dump. I'm just like boom. And whether it's talking or writing or making art, and then when I look at everything that I dumped, I'm like, there is a story that
Yeah,
you can pull out of it, and you can say, this is what I'm about.
exactly. And it also makes you like visual representation plays a lot more help, because in my mind, yes, things are very chaotic and but it has a meaning. It all will lead me to something that I have imagined, which I am not clear enough right now. But to see it all in physical form, in a sense where I can see, okay, this makes sense, then I can pull that thread out. Like you said, like it does have a story, it does have a meaning why we did what we think we do. I mean,
Yeah, and a lot of things only become clear later, and we're like, so I call this following the stones that glow. So like it's essentially like it's a story that I wrote was there's like this bridge, but you couldn't tell that it was a bridge over the water because it was just a bunch of rocks. And the kids were like, "How do we cross the bridge?" And then the gnomes, which are like these little the rose gnome
yeah,
that you drew, were like, "You have to like calm down, and then the stones that are glowing are the other ones you should walk on." And it's very similar with our art. Like when we kind of calm down and regulate our nervous system and we're like, okay, what's the art that really glows for us? We start to follow that. And sometimes only, later in our life, we look back and we see the story of it all. And there's so much art out there where, like, for instance, like I write children's musicals, and the fact that I am a pianist, a songwriter, I like crafting, I like da, da, da. The fact that I like to do all those things allows me to create a space where kids can go deeper in each one. There might be a kid who just wants to paint the stage. There might be a kid who wants to work with the puppets. There might be a kid who wants to focus more on dance choreography. And
mhm,
because I have all of those things, I'm able to really like hold a space for kids to really go in any direction. Or the same thing goes with
yeah,
like any kind of medium, like if you want to make movies, or some people who do like home design. Like I used to babysit, and I worked for a woman who did house design. It's like, oh, it's good if you have many different skills. Like there's so many jobs that exist that require you to learn really quickly. So you're like, that's my first time. When you like painted your beautiful painting, you're like, oh, that's the first time I used that particular medium. But I'm like, it's amazing. So you clearly learn things really quickly because you're changing, right? You have to,
yeah.
you're like, I'm good at being a beginner. I go from like 0 to 10 really fast. But that's only something you learn from being a beginner over and over and over and over again. And so it's neat as we kind of explore certain things, they do start to kind of like tie together in like a story that makes sense, that we can actually be like, here's my gift. Like this is the thing that I'm giving to the
Yeah.
world. Yeah.
I mean, like me making that would also bring back memories. And I'll say, like, is in this day and age where creativity is a little bit not threatened in a way, but there are more artificial things in the world now, and it can mimic you, like it can try to mimic you.
Mm,
But one thing that I for sure have felt, that it lacks experience that you have.
mm,
It lacks the stories which you have lived. It
mm,
lacks the people you have met and how they have impacted you.
mm,
It's just a machine, or it's just an algorithm which can reproduce somebody's work, but it lacks that s- spirit, I'll say.
mm. Yeah, spirit, context. Yeah. No, that's really beautiful. So it's actually really interesting because that kind of inspires the artist to be more honest with their work because that is what would differentiate us and make us different.
Separate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, different.
from the machines.
And also, like, because okay, when you look at nature, every flower, every leaf, every even though they look identical, they are not. They are structurally, they are like in every minute way, they are very different.
Mhm.
Some might have big petals, some might have like one tiny petal, and the rest, like every, some might even be different. Like we, for naked eye, it's all same. But if you look individually, we are all made to be different. Can't be the same thing, and where we are all can copy and paste. No, it's going to be what you feel is going to be different, what I feel is going to be different, but the way we can connect on that, on those feeling, will make us make the change in the world,
Mm.
I'll say. And it's bad. I mean, right now the situation is not happy. We need to support and we need to engage in that creativity, when we, people will feel much more happy reconnecting with them, than to learn more. I mean, yes, learning is a continue process, but I'll say machines are always going to be machine. People are more real
Mm.
in a way.
Yeah, and I love what you said about like happiness and just being like people if we don't create we're not going to be as happy. Like it's actually it's not only like making art isn't necessarily about being like I'm the best in the class at painting mushrooms. It's like how do I feel when I paint mushrooms? There's actually this sweet girl who I teach and I have this thing called like Procreate. It's on my iPad. It's like a
Mhm.
digital thing, a digital drawing software, which I really love because it helps me draw without worrying about wasting kind of paint or buying more paint.
Paper. Yeah.
It's
And it
expensive
has
at the
every
beginning.
medium in it in a way.
Exactly. And it's expensive at first, but it pays for itself because it's like you're like I could just make hundreds and hundreds of pieces and really practice my craft without buying more and more paint. So I had one of my students and she was painting on it and I told her I was like you can just take the color, drag it and drop it and it fills up the thing. So you draw your circle and then you fill it. And she was like, "No, thank you. Like I want to color it." Because she liked the way that it felt to color it and it really taught me like, "Oh yeah, it's a lot more like yes, I can fill it and get the same job done, but the pleasure that I experience from just feeling what it feels like to rub my paintbrush against the paint, like sometimes that's the whole reason we do it. It's nice to have a beautiful painting at the end, but sometimes the whole reason we do it is actually just like, what does that feel like? Yeah.
Exactly. No, that would make a lot more sense, because
Mhm.
what we feel, what we see, and the whole sense where you are engaging all your senses, and that is why it is meant, like art is meant to make you feel those sensations, what you felt when you were creating that in a way.
Mhm.
And as an artist, like I'll say it, if you look at a painting, you just don't see that, oh, it's a flower, it's a mushroom. You feel like, oh, okay, you try to like read why they would have done that.
Mm.
Like if you go to a museum, people are just looking at pictures. if you try to understand what the artist felt, it will make you more. You can. It's like a picture is worth 1,000 words,
Hmm.
but you have to know how to read those words.
And be slow enough. I
So,
think it does
yeah.
take a slowness to actually receive the information, because like if you're too fast, you're like, okay, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. But if you can really be present with the piece, like Maud Lewis, you seen
Yes.
right? Her art is, very simple, but it's charged with like all of her joy, like every ounce of survival, love, and like reason to live that she had, like because she, like it was just so much love was poured into it. It was like her safe place. And so that, I think that's why it makes such has continued to make a huge impact on the world,
True.
and her husband, there were some of his paintings in the thing and they were good, but you could tell that they weren't exactly his spirit. He was just
Yeah.
imitating her style, but it wasn't his spirit. So they were like, well, I didn't find them as moving, but it's like they're the same. We can copy Maud Lewis, but it's not her style that we're copying.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we just be as present and enamored with our art as she was, or as we want to be,
Oh, true.
Mm-hmm.
I actually came across Maud Louise, and when I was very young,
Mm.
I would bunk class. I mean, in a way, so we had assembly, like where people would pray, and like in schools, people would ask you. I mean, teachers will, everyone will stand in the ground and they would pray. They would share details, information about the schools and everything. So assembly would. I didn't like to be outside in morning. I don't want to stand there in a way. So I would bunk that way and I'll go to library for some reason. It just called me. And I'll look at different picture books where they had a collection of artists and all over the world, and they'll have different paintings. And I throughout that time, because I voluntarily, like, I would ask the librarian, can I sit, like, can I be with you, I can help you arrange the books. But more or less I would sit in a corner with a picture book in my hand, and I'll just scroll and browse through a lot of different artists. And Mont Louis stood out to me in that age. I remember it very much because her style makes you feel very happy, the bright bold colors, and you can feel it in a way that it meant something to her.
Mm.
It would bring her joy. I mean, she started painting, and I think like she stopped for a bit, and then again she started painting, and she
Mm.
still kept the price the same for her postcards in a way. So I could see why. Oh, sorry, my Alexa, turn on all the lights white.
She's like, it's a deep
Machine.
conversation. Let's
Oh
turn the
yeah,
lights
let's. She
down.
was setting the mood.
So
Yeah.
funny.
And I didn't know where Mont Louise was from. So when I moved to Halifax, I was like, what? I see her
Wow.
art everywhere. And I didn't know where she exactly was from because it was way, way back in like when I was maybe 13,
Mm.
15, way young. And I didn't know that.
Mm.
And somehow, like, I am in a land where she was. She kind of walked in the same path where I am, might be, yeah. And I can feel that energy in the streets, in the place. I definitely want to visit where you are because it's phenomenal, the nature, the beauty, and everything. But even here it's like the same. You can feel it in the streets, you can see in the shops, the small coffee shops. You can feel that there is something about the place, there is something about the people. But it's the beauty is in the eye of beholder. So if you are low and if you are in that space where you don't want to see, then of course you will pass by some of the most beautiful places and you will not even look up.
Mm.
But if you keep your eyes open and you want to experience those things, like I would have not met you if I was not curious enough. I'm so happy to meet you. And if I would have not had that courage today, like what I have made, you inspired me to do that in a way. It's like meeting people meet and they feel inspired. And I could translate that inspiration into that painting
Mm.
because you made me feel a certain way. You made me feel happy skies, sunflower and lavender and the rose. So those are the feelings which I felt when I saw the whole your social media, and
Mm.
I was so inspired by that one line that we are
Made from stardust.
others. Yeah, and that sentence is so important because we lose that touch of magic when we grow old.
Mm.
It The world is too much real for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's one of my. I really appreciate that witnessing because sometimes it's hard to see your own thread and your own through line because you're in it. It's like a fish in water, but when you look out, you're like, I see lavender, I see sunflowers, I see it's important to remember your magic. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool, yeah. And it's funny, like every one of my musicals are about that, like kids telling their parents, like, or people telling kids, or any that moment where people lose that remembering that they're magic and that they can like, that the world is beautiful and that the world is it's a beautiful place to create and all these things, and there are moments that we forget. And I'm the thing that I'm so curious about is like, what are the things that make people feel safe making art and believing in magic and sharing their voices, and what are the things that make them shut down, and what are the things. And so I guess like for you, I'm curious, like what are the things where you're like, I when I make art, because you were like, oh, when I was like when I met you, I felt like I wanted to paint, I'm like, that's really cool. So I might be part of something that makes you feel good making art, but there are other things too, because like you're in a new country. So does change and travel make you feel like being creative? Like what are the things that make you feel like, yes, I can just make the art I want to make?
If this question was asked last year, I would not be able to say that. Like, I would not be able to answer that question. Now, I'll say creating art needs for you to feel that art, you need to first accept your feelings.
Yeah.
In a way, like, as I said, like, I bottle my emotions. And what adulthood does, like I'll say, like surviving does to you when you're moving different places, you are much more worried about how the housing situation will go, how the rents would look like, how I will do my job. I need to do laundry. I need to make food. And it's like so many tasks, but where do you stand? Like, what do you want to do that would make you feel more connected to you? That sense of I lost that sense of connection with me. I have a really great friend from childhood. Like we practically lived right across the street in a way. But the one thing that I could remember, like I had a conversation with her, like I am not feeling myself when I moved here. And for a long time, I am not myself. And she was like, yeah, you are, because she is doing really exciting things for her Instagram, and then for herself actually. She is trying to make it happen. She is still connected with that. And she's like, you know what? You should try that too. And I couldn't make sense of those words because I was not opening up about my emotions to myself.
You needed to feel your feelings in order to feel
Yeah.
safe making art. And so, what made you feel safe enough in feeling your feelings? Like, what allowed
I
you? Yeah.
when this whole thing was happening around me, I had a lot of personal situations which just led me feel like I couldn't scream, I couldn't cry. Even if I cry, it's like barely. I will make some time and then I will just again get back up in the morning and go to my work. and sorry, in night. So I was doing night shift for like 1.5 year, which is bad for your body. And I did it because it was the most convenient time for me to talk with my family. And I was like, why do I do that? To feel connected. I Because I was scared what might happen if I'm not there, like connected with them 24/7. And I was like, why do I have to worry? They are good, they are doing okay. I can take my time and I can relax. I started the first time when I asked my workplace that can I take a off, because I was choosing my I was help in a way I was helping them the most time. Like if they need me, I would always be there for them. I would not take off because I would think about them. Okay, no, they are very full, and hotel line is very different in a way where you can't make choices based around your thoughts. The hotel needs you, and I felt more connected to that, and which was wrong. I had to think about myself too.
Mm-hmm.
Being a little selfish sometimes is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when I asked that time off, like, can I take a time off? I am not exactly in the right space right now. And they denied. They were like, no, we are busy. And I was like, no, I'm sorry. Like, I have done a lot in this point, and I kind of didn't take no as an answer. I found out a way, and I took my time. I took my time with reconnecting myself, with talking to a therapist helps a lot, because for me it was too much feelings that I just bursted in that one split second, or in that one entire day of experiencing something which was not helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But that feeling, like, it was bad, of course, but that feeling made me feel much better later on, because I let that expression go and I let myself feel whatever I was feeling. If I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling sad. If I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling angry. That's okay. That's my thought. And when I felt them coming out, so same goes with being grateful of what you got. If the tiniest win can, okay, no, it's just a tiny win. Oh no, it's a win.
Mm-hmm.
You don't look at the tiny part, you look at the win part.
Mm-hmm.
If you start celebrating what as a kid you would celebrate to, yeah, then yes, I that made me reconnect with the art in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, or at least like me feeling my me again starting to feel my emotions again, and me starting to realize that I have to connect myself again. That it's funny, I saw an advertisement for, oh no, it was an event for kids, like ice cream and paint and ice cream. And I was so happy. I asked, like, do you guys have like an age limit, or is it for like adults as well? And they were like, no, this is for kids. And I was like, oh, that's, I mean, yeah, yes, kids would really feel happy about that. But I think like you should do it for adults as well, because there are so many of us who don't feel connected to that
Mm-hmm.
same level of joy. We forget to experience that for a long time, because we are again in this world of
Business. We have to work, work, work,
business.
work, work, work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually really beautiful. So basically the trajectory is you had a big pain that allowed you to be like, I can't stop ignoring my feelings. Then you started feeling your feelings through many modalities, and then that opened you up to create your
Mhm.
art. And
Yeah.
then you maintain the creation of your art by celebrating yourself and letting
Yeah.
yourself feel. That's beautiful. That's like a clean recipe. You know, like you're like, it's like a two ingredient recipe. It's like we celebrate, we feel. We celebrate, we feel. I'm like, girl, that is impeccable. Yeah. But no, that is something I'm glad you mentioned that you like went, because I love watching shows that are like good shows, but like kids movies and kids shows. And I I work a lot with kids, so sometimes parents will like, when I was younger,
Mhm.
I would babysit and stuff, and the parents, like, I do like movie nights or whatever with the kids, and the kids would always laugh at me because I always cry during kids movies, always. um and they're like, Mickey, here you go again, and I'm like, yeah. Here I go again. But it's so good. Like I'm like, yeah, it's a beautiful container and it's okay to just, you know, be
Yeah.
silly and make messy art and play with puppets. And I think it's so much better to do that than like repress ourselves. And there's another thing that you said, that you said it's okay to be a little bit selfish sometimes. And I kind of want to like go back to that and be like, wait a minute, okay, because it's so interesting because we think it's selfish to make our art, right? We're like, okay, yeah, whatever. But like, you know, if you weren't a little bit selfish, like this beautiful piece that you made that like brought me so much joy and that I'm sure would bring so many people so much joy wouldn't exist if you didn't be a little bit selfish, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that paint set as a as a gift for myself.
Hmm.
So I do this way. Like I have a my ADHD. I tell you, I am a keen spender.
Mm.
I have a partner who is nice and who helps me to figure out how I can save
Hmm.
for the most part. Like his entire life he has been a saver, or he comes from a family where they saved a lot. And my family is a big time spender. Like if we want something, yeah, we'll figure out and we'll get that in a way. Like I will cry. I would be really stubborn. Not stubborn, but in a nice and gentle way. That yeah, I want that. So my family would give me, like my dad would give me a chore or a task that if I did that, then I can it was a reward system.
Hmm.
Um After a point, like now I have my own money. I'm adult, but
Hmm.
I can spend, and I can spend it on whatever I want. But then I also have to worry about the bills, which I am not thinking, because I feel really, like I feel really happy when I buy that thing. So
Hmm.
we come up with a plan that okay, I give you a chunk and we save like to pay bills or anything, and with the rest of the amount I can do whatever I want to do. But I have to have a goal for it, in a way. Like if I achieve that, or if I, let's say, like if I do a little small win, then I will make that purchase.
Mm.
So when I think I had a task that I'll get my first job, and then the second week, if I make it until the week 2, then I'll get myself painting. And I did that
Mm.
within like the first month, and on at the place where I really wanted to.
Mm.
So everything worked out. And I went to Amazon. I was like, yeah, I always wanted to try gouache, so I bought it. And then it just sat on the shelf because I was not inspired enough. I
Mm.
got my win, but then what do I paint? That I can do whatever I want to do, of course, but then I have to be inspired by something to create the art. And that inspiration came when I was like, okay, no, I have to see what kind of like what kind of content she makes, like because we just met
Mm.
maybe like 15 minutes, half an hour, I'm not
Very
sure.
fast, yeah.
Yeah, it was very quick. It was a nice conversation, but I was like, no, I need to know more, and I want to do something because I see you creating art. And throughout the when we planned and when we are actually talking, throughout that section, like I had to see like what you like, what you dislike, and what kind of things I we wanna chat about. I was a little nervous, but then it kind of made sense when I was like, you know what, I'll make this, because I used to do this for my friends as well back home. And I was like, why not? Why did I stop? I that sentence itself, like that poem inspired me, and I was like, I'll make something. And I was gonna make you as the you there was a picture of you with the harp, and you were wearing a bright yellow flowy dress sitting on the grass, and it was a poster of some event. And I was, yeah, that looks really beautiful. I was gonna paint that.
Wow.
And as I started, I made a sketch of the harp, but then as I went along, I was like,
Mm.
And then I kind of scratched that idea and I started painting flowers. And it just went like I didn't draw anything. It was just brushes. And then he kind of commented on that, like, you planned something. And now you're always like, you plan something and then you end up painting something else. And I'm like, no, because I felt it. I
Mm.
felt that.
I think that's beautiful. I had a music songwriting mentor say it's good to have a prompt. So give someone a prompt and they can either be inspired by the prompt or by saying no to the prompt. But
Yeah.
without the prompt, you're left with an empty page. So without anything, you're like, I don't know what to make. But so even if you're like, oh, I'm gonna paint, Wazo, that's cool, that's the prompt, and then you're like, now I don't want to paint Wazo, but I'm gonna paint her energy, that's cool. But you're still working within the prompt because even if it's a slight rejection of the prompt, but if there's no prompt whatsoever, it can be really hard to be like,
What do I do?
but it's interesting listening to you talk. You seem highly motivated by like people and like
Yes.
connecting to people. And I think you're an incredible translator of energy. Like looking at those flowers, like I really felt truly seen. I was like, not only did you like I not only did you see me and my puppets, but like just the lightness and choosing flowers on like a summer day, like I'm like, oh my god, like yes, like I all of these things make me so happy. And so it's cool that you were able to see an energy and capture it as a painting. But yeah, no, I was just
Yeah.
thinking as you were
Uh,
talking, because
yeah.
basically your artistic process, you're like, oh, I'm motivated by people, and you really see energy. You're like, oh, I saw the blue, and you really like the color selection was so beautiful, and you were like, oh, this is, like you painted the gnome, the puppets as different flowers, and like that's a really unique idea. And I was just like, oh man, like live painting, like dance events or festivals or things like that. A lot of people do it. It's such a great way to kind of like share your art and network, but also like get inspiration and have a container where you're like, I have to do this.
Mhm. No, true.
Mhm.
But also people make me feel a little nervous as well, I'll say.
Mm, interesting.
Mm, like I can sit like any possible way that I feel like when I'm alone. So
Mhm.
when I'm creating this picture, I have changed my position of sitting so many different times that is like, why are you painting it? At a point, I was lying, my feet was up in like one pillow, and my ADHD takes over me in a way. So
Mm,
life painting, yes, I that is something that I have felt a lot more connecting, and I'm trying something in the events as well right now.
mm,
Um, it's naturally like I go really well with people because I meet a lot of people.
mhm,
My line is hospitality. I work in hotels, so people, yes, it inspires me. I would love to do that. Yeah, I can
mm.
try. I'll
And it
try.
and it depends
Yeah,
on the dance. So like for instance, we've taken a pause on ecstatic dances for a little bit while we're like looking for a
yeah.
house and stuff, but with like ecstatic dance, people are all in different positions anyway. So nobody would blink an eye if you were like upside down painting. Like nobody
Oh
would
yeah,
care.
no,
Nobody would
of course.
care.
I like that concept so much because I was like, okay, I think the first time we spoke about it, when I saw that um, video, I felt it's more of a rave party, but
Mm.
then it's a sober rave party. And I was like, that's such a nice concept.
Mhm.
You are actually in the moment, present, without any influence, I might add, because of course they might increase your. It's okay. Like adult things, I'm okay with that. But I will say, like, you can't really feel, you can't use all your senses when you are in that influence.
Mhm.
So to see people actually enjoying so much to the music, and the music
Mhm.
itself is so much more spiritual. I like when I met you, you were wearing a nice orange printed dress, and which looked a lot Indian, I'll say. It was a cotton, I think. And believe it or not, Indian patterns are really, really vibrant and fun. I had to, like, when I started feeling my emotions again, accepting my feelings, like accepting my emotions again, I called my mom and I was like, please, can you send me those pattern, like the clothes? And this was before we met. So the day we met, I was wearing something blue and something much more, which I would generally not wear in that sense, in that period before that. So to see you in that same color and to see people in that same color, like when I look at video, it makes me feel that happy. And it's like you can't experience that when you are in the under the influence, and it's not good, I'll say.
Well, it makes sense because if you're gonna like numb your feelings with anything, whether like you were just repressing them anyway,
Yeah.
like it's hard to have your expression be, you know, artistic and colorful when you're holding it back. And again, like you said, no judgment towards the adult things or, you know, people working with that,
Yeah.
but like it can sometimes stop you from feeling the feelings, or if you feel the feelings then you blame it. You're like, I wasn't really feeling, that wasn't me, like, you know,
Yeah.
you can separate yourself from that. And I think sometimes it's really good to be able to just feel your feelings and realize that no one's gonna like hate you for feeling your feelings, or you'll be accepted, you know, and it's okay when we're like in these structures where you have to sit at your desk and you have to be like this and da 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 da, and then all of a sudden you're in an environment where you can actually just like be like a kid again.
I grew up in a house where I'm the eldest, but then I have a range of my cousins who are like as young as a baby right now. And some of them don't really know me because I moved out when they like way before when they were born. So they still know that they have a elder sister and they call me Didi. So Bulbul Didi is there is a concept of Bulbul Didi somewhere in them. Like they would do a video call, they would know, but they don't really know me in a way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
The kids who actually grew up around me, they brought me so much joy, and I miss that part because I could connect with them. Even though like I'm adult, I can still relive my thoughts and my emotions through them, and like, yeah, let's watch Elsa or let's watch
mm-hmm.
Moana is coming. I mean, I think Moana, there was a new
The second
Moana
one,
movie,
yeah.
yeah. And yeah, he is not exactly interested, he's the only child, but I love
If you ever
Moana.
want to watch a kids movie together, like I went to go see Moana for Christmas with my family. I am the youngest. Like I'm the youngest. So I'm like, yeah, like let's do it. Like my whole life is I love kids, like again, like I make teddy bears, I paint. I like the kid things. It's like whatever.
I'm trying to say, like, if I can, because now I have a better vision what I want to do. Earlier on in my career trajectory, like in India, it's not stereotype. I'm not stereotyping, but I can say this because I live there. So
Yeah.
in India, more or less, you are bound to be an engineer, doctor, or an accountant, or something like very business or eh,
Big
like,
money.
yeah, hospitality or like hotel industry is something that is very out of ordinary. And I was already at a mindset that I would be an engineer because I used to help a lot of my friends and they were engineers, a lot of them. So I thought I will be that. But eventually, as I was going through and I was learning more about myself, I knew that I wanted to do something with people. What do I do with people? I love to be around with them, and hotels came up. Like I was a kid, I would love to go on vacation. I have really found this memory to make memory. because memory is something that would shape you in a way. A lot of ways. I mean, memory, you if you look yourself, you are a collection of your memories, and that is what you imitate now. So I was like, yes, I would try to be in hospitality because I can learn more about people. And now I think, like, because I'm here, I see a lot more of what I'm doing, and a lot more of what you do, and how it can. I randomly met an old lady and had a conversation for 4 hours,
Wow.
and we just connected.
Mm.
And I kind of, like, at the end of the day, I almost know a lot of things about her which I might have not if I didn't take time. I might not even see her again. That's okay. Or I might see her again. She looks, I mean, uh, that depends. But I'll say, like, what that conversation made me feel was so much more inspiring than what I would have felt if I was doing working with machine, or operating on somebody, or doing accounts.
Hmm.
Because people are so much more impactful in a way, and you're going to lose them after a point.
Mhm.
So why not learn more from them?
That's a really, yeah, it's a really cool motivation. I think we're, do you know your like astrology? I'm very curious what your, yeah.
Indian
Yeah, yeah. Girl, you're like, we invented that.
astrology. Yeah, I am a Taurus.
Oh, I love Tauruses.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious because, like, apparently Leos, which I am, are very motivated by people. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if you're a Leo because you're very motivated by people. And so I was like, oh, I'm curious. But yeah, no, it's really interesting how you're like, I'm curious to see in your life
Yeah.
and your artist expression how your motivation of people and connecting to people and listening to their stories will will unravel. Like, will you write? Like, you can write, you can draw, like you can do pretty much, like there's so many things you could
Thanks. Yeah.
explore through your motivation to people. So I'm really curious to see that unfold.
My best friend is a Leo.
Ah.
And my dad.
My best friend is a Taurus.
Wow.
They're so good.
Yeah.
They're a special breed. I just want to let you
Maybe.
know I'm going to the beach in about 10-15 minutes. So
Okay.
I just wanted to, but we don't have to leave right away. But if you wanted to like share kind of any big projects you're working on, or like offerings
Ooh.
that you have, like your henna offerings, if people can find you online. And then also any final thoughts. Like, you've given so much, I feel like you've offered so much like advice and a lot of nuggets that I'm really excited to like share, because it's like, I think it's really important for people to hear. Um, this important information, especially your perspective of someone who's you know traveled and
All
moved
over the
and things like that. So I think it's really beautiful, and I really appreciate you being down to share. But yeah, if you have anything else that you want to share, and then of course anything that you're wanting to plug and promote. So people
Yeah.
can could people contact you to do henna and
Oh,
painting at a live
yes.
event? Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, people can contact me for henna, for working on projects of making earrings and paintings. And, but I'm also working on a project of cards.
A deck of cards.
Oh no, the cards that you receive from people.
Oh, like birthday cards.
Birthday cards,
Oh, that's so
or
cute.
any personalized cards, or yeah.
So you like, if somebody wanted to contact you and just say like, "Hey, I'd like to like buy some cards from you." Do you have some already available, or like they would just commission them like one at a
Oh,
time?
commission. And I would, so I make personalized cards. The ones, if you like, if you are looking for very personal gifts, but you know those box cards where they would have a lot of pictures, you can interactive cards in a way,
Oh,
where you
like,
can feel
yeah, pop-ups.
pop-ups, or
So fun.
in a way. So I have this card where it's a box card, and if you open the box, it will unfold and then drop down. And then there's box inside the box. You have messages, you have um uh pull, you have a pull of, like, if you pull something, it will flip the photos, and then you have different letters inside it and messages,
Oh my
and
gosh,
something
that's so
really
cool.
interactive in a way.
If you have any kind of last words or things that you want to share, and then I'd love to just catch up at another point as well.
Oh, yes. I mean, it was really, really lovely talking to you. You always light up a joy. Unlike
As it gets dark.
Alexa, it has to do it again. Alexa, can you please turn on lights? And as we go, so it's one more to add.
Mhm.
No, it was really amazing talking to you. And thank you so much for having me
Mhm.
to chat with you. And you are really wonderful artist who brings joy to this world. And I am really glad to have met you. And I feel a lot of people would really enjoy like the fun things you bring into this world. So
That
yeah.
means so much. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited to see more of the things that you make. Like your art is so beautiful. It's so moving, and it really sees the spirit, the human spirit, and celebrates the human spirit, which is really important. So thank you so much, and I really look forward to just catching up
Yeah.
later.